Sox sweep!
Sox sweep!
Sox sweep!
Sox sweep!
Sox sweep! Sox sweep! CHGO White Sox post-game show presented to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, like a White Sox sweep of the Pirates, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Sign up with code CHGO365. Welcome into Studio B of our CHGO offices. The B stands for Damn the Buccos. So the B is the capital. The damn is like kind of in parenthesis. Damn them Buccos stink. That's what Studio B stands for. It's a little long. We should... Again, that's why we just call it Studio B. I'm Sean Anderson. Along with me, Joey Christopoulos, my producer.
White Sox sweep. Back to you, Sean.
White Sox sweep. White Sox win 7-2 on today's game. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We are here with you this week. We have a 3-game set against the Tampa Rays. Hopefully, Dan Plesak doesn't wash his polo. We'll get into that in a second. They got 3 games against the Rays. We got post-game shows on Monday and Wednesday. So we got you covered. Also, last week during the All-Star break, we had our top 10 what-if moments. Stephen Nicholas filled in on that show. Or not filled in, but, you know, it was a part of that show. Joey was a part of that as well. We went through the top 10 what-if moments in White Sox history. Shout out to Sean Jankowski for mentioning Carlos Quentin breaking his wrist in 2008. Probably should have been on the list, if not an honorable mention. We definitely didn't need to talk about no more. We could have talked about Carlos Quentin. So
that was a good one. No, that was a good.
Might be on that one. We also have some fun stuff today. Mike Tauchman is now Jim Thome, so welcome to the Hall of Fame, Mike Tauchman. We have some realistic, that's the key word, realistic Luis Robert Jr. trades. We're still drooling over Grant Taylor. There's some fake IL stints that we have to talk about. And then where does Lenin Sosa fit? Because I think it's on the DFA line, but the trade deadline's coming up. So do they have to walk a tightrope right now with Lenin Sosa to get to August to keep him on the roster? Maybe. Again, hit that thumbs up button. If you have any thoughts on the White Sox weekend, let us know in the comments. I know a ton of people from Chicago were out celebrating this weekend. The 108 and Sox Machine did a great meetup. I think over 100 people were out in Pittsburgh. 100 Sox fans were out in Pittsburgh. So great showing by you Sox fans. Hopefully you had a fun weekend if you went. Let's talk about Dan Plesak stinking in the booth, because Dan Plesak chose to wear a white polo on Friday and they won. And then on Saturday, Dan Plesak said, well, they won, so let's go with what works. And then they won again. And they didn't wash it. And today, they win 7-2. The White Sox blew out the Pirates this entire weekend. And I think it's solely because of Dan Plesak's polo. And I'm, fingers crossed, I don't want to over-deliver. But Dan Plesak has been on CHGO Sports before. He likes Luke Stuckmeyer, which is a good thing. And I think Luke Stuckmeyer likes me. So, woo. I will do my best to get that man on this program. And hopefully, the true thing is what we want, is we want Dan Plesak's polo. We will hang it in the rafters, because that's history. That should belong in a White Sox museum. And I'll tell you what, the White Sox are too afraid to put that behind home plate at the, the scout seats, right? There's a beautiful, they have all this memorabilia. Bill Melton was the home run king in 1972. They have the actual crown of Bill Melton. They have a bag, I think, of, someone stealing some historic base, right? Dan Plesak's weird white 2000 polos should be in there.
Quick aside, are you that guy? Are you a guy that, growing up, you wouldn't wash something, or did you have lucky socks, or were you I loved getting my jersey dirty, but after the game, I never minded washing it.
No, I didn't have many superstitions, and that's probably why I sucked. Nomar was a great hitter.
You could have been a stinky sensation.
I was
could have happened.
Very lucky to see the film Ephus at the Music Box Theater on Saturday, and post-movie, Bill Lee, Spaceman Bill Lee, longtime reliever in Major League Baseball who used to throw the Ephus, was being interviewed by Matt Spiegel of 670 The Score. Shout out to Spiegs. And Bill Lee called Nomar the human rain delay, because he would step out of the box after every single pitch and then do all the stuff with his batting gloves. So Bill Elite was very entertaining. But yeah, DJ Nasty Nuts, that's the name, okay? I didn't call him it. DJ Nasty Nuts saying the Polo Magic could be something. We'll see what happens when they take on Tampa in the replica of the Yankees Stadium, because 2025 makes sense.
I mean, is there something that we can cook up on the show here? Like, what would it take for you to maybe like wear the same shirt every day for a week? Or what would your wife allow? Like, if the Sox got to 10 wins in a row?
I'm not worrying. But that means I would have to know that they're about to start a 10-win streak. So that means...
What are we on right now?
Okay, so you just want me to wear this again? See, the one thing that I have to bring up, this hat is not it. Usually I'm wearing a non-fitted hat. My dad got me, shout out John, this hat. I'm not a huge fan of the Southside City Connects 2.0, but I was like, hey, you know what? I got red on my shoes or in the shirt here. Shout out to the store and the Shirtless Wonder over there.
And as you said, you're doing the Billie Eilish today.
I haven't, yeah, I'm doing the Billie Eilish wearing the PV shirt jersey. But the fitted hat is nasty. It's nasty work. Because, you know, I like sometimes wearing a baseball hat backwards. This is not a good look. This is 2005 dude hanging out in a bar, right? Peeling off the label of a Miller Lite, a Vortex Miller Lite. This is not a guy you want to talk about. This is Southside Sean wearing a kind of, fallen off the truck hat. You bought this hat for $15 when it's turned backwards. I'm not a fan of the hat. So so I don't know if I want to wear this outfit.
Nice colors.
I guess.
Color
This
seems
is
okay.
a laundry day for me.
I just don't know why we're messing with the greatest logo probably in sports, the White Sox logo. I don't know why you mess with it.
Because the Bulls are also, they exist. Let's get into the game. No expert saying, if they got swept by us, they sure do stink. Wow. Not only did the White Sox sweep the Pirates, they demolished them. 10-1 on Friday, 10-4 on Saturday, 7-2 today. An absolute annihilation of the Pirates. And when we talked before the All-Star break, we mentioned that the White Sox have the third hardest schedule in the second half. Looks pretty easy to me, Joey. The one thing that I brought up was the White Sox already played the Marlins, they already played the Rockies, and you can't play yourself. So automatically, 3 of the worst teams are not going to be on the White Sox schedule. I think a large part of why they have the hardest schedule is because I think they're a little underrated. If you look at Fangraphs projections for the rest of the year, this is at fangraphs.com/depth charts. I think if you go to that specifically, that should pull up to point ASPX ? Position equals standings. Anyways, the projected full season win-loss record for your Chicago White Sox before today, 59-103. 59-103.
Can't get a 6 in there. We can't get the 6-0.
But still, 18 win difference. Like, I don't know if that's going to happen. And I think the one reason why it won't happen is because of the trade deadline. You're going to be getting rid of, Luis Robert Jr. and Aaron, not Savale. I'm thinking
Adrian Hauser?
Adrian Hauser, the other A. Adrian Hauser, you're likely losing your best bat and you're likely losing your best pitcher. Will they be able to keep this pace? Probably not. But the fact that we're here in the second half, and that's not a 110-plus number, that's a major win for the Chicago White Sox. And I do think that they are being a little bit slept on by the rest of the major league. I think that this is a team that can be competitive even with Robert and Hauser and whoever else is gone. I feel like they'll be able to sustain that. So let's talk about this weekend. The main thing that we need to talk about is Luis Robert Jr. He had a beautiful game on Friday. In the third inning, he made a spectacular, probably top 5 catch of Luis Robert Jr.'s career. There is that weird bullpen part of PNC that juts out, and it makes like a weird little cavern in left center. And right in front of that, Robert goes from dead center all the way to left center to the end of that bullpen to the part where it goes like back in to the wall. He lays out completely flat, complete highlight moment, will be on the highlight reel when his career ultimately ends. Just a beautiful, spectacular play showing his speed, his jump, and his true athletic ability to be able to make a play. There's so many plays that he's able to like get to, and you're just wondering like, well, if it was just a little bit lower, maybe he's able to make that play. he is a truly special defender, even though I feel like he's not properly rated by outs above average, DRS, etc. Just watching him, I think that he is an above average center fielder. And if you were a team that, I don't know, maybe had Julio Rodriguez in center field, you would love to play that guy in right field, or maybe if you trust Randy Arozarena's arm more, you play him in left field just because the ground he covers is immense. This is no Andrew Benintendi out there. This guy is a true outfielder, has such great range and such true reaction skills that are just top notch. The one thing about Luis Robert Jr. that is tough to put together fake trade packages for is the fact that his play has been so inconsistent. If you go from June 4th of last year to June 4th of this year, he is a negative player making $15 million. That should be untradeable. What he has done since last June is sub 200 batting average, sub 250 on base percentage, sub 400 slugging. He has been absolutely terrible. However, since June 1st of 2025, do you know who's tied for 133rd in Major League Baseball in WAR? Sorry, who's tied for 121st in Major League Baseball in F4?
I want to say Austin Slater's so bad right now, but Luis Robert Jr.?
You are correct. It is James McCann. No, it's Luis Robert Jr. at 0.6. And if you take that 0.6, divide it by 28, and then you times it by 80, because you're getting the WAR per game, and then there's 80 games left. If you times 0.6 by 80, and if he's able, which is a big if he's able to continue this play, you could possibly have like a 1.7 WAR player on your team, which is very, very valuable, which plays into the upcoming realistic trade pieces. A fantastic video was released by Lance Brostowski, realistic trade packages. He goes through Sandy Alcantara, but he built this spreadsheet based off of Fangraphs, prospect values, and then the player's actual value. I was able to, I think, figure it out, and we tried to put together realistic trade packages for Luis Robert Jr. We'll do one first, and this is the bad one, and we'll go from worst to best, okay? The whole idea, though, with Luis Robert Jr. is the money. Prorated for the rest of the year, those 80 games, he's going to make $7.5 million, or like $7.4 million, we rounded up. If he is at 1 WAR for this rest of the year, he's worth $10 million. If he's worth a half WAR, he's worth $5 million. If he's worth 0 WAR, he's worth nothing. It's really a team gambling that he'll be able to put up 1.7 WAR for the rest of the year. If he's not that type of player, or people aren't really respecting him to that type of level, all of these trade packages are going to be much worse. And what I'm telling you right now is, before we get into them, I don't think any of you will like them. I'm just trying to be realistic. And that's the unfortunate thing about Luis Robert Jr. is all of the potential is there. And I think once he gets a new change of scenery, that guy's going to be a lot happier. The monkey's going to be off his back. He's finally going to be able to breathe. And I think for some reason, maybe his right eye will stop being blinded and he'll be able to hit right-handed pitching. Because you look at him versus left-handed pitching, 40% better than major league average, a plus defender in the outfield. He's now got 25 steals, right? The only thing that is a true negative on his game, and it's a massive negative, is him versus right-handed pitching. But if he is worth 1.7 more, let's get into the first one for the Padres. I looked for teams that are poor against left-handers and really don't have either a center fielder or could switch things around to fit Robert into their outfield. This is the trade package. 40-plus future value pitcher Brandon Nett, 40-plus future value pitcher Miguel Mendez, and 35-plus future value bat Lamar King Jr. I'll talk more about why this is so bad, and it's mainly the Padres' fault. They need a center fielder. They're typically aggressive. The reason why this is so bad, and those three players total, $8.8 million. Robert, if he was to put up 1.7 more, would be worth $9.5 million. So that is technically an underpay for the Padres. The White Sox shouldn't accept that, right? They're not even getting fair value for Robert. So that's at least just to give you an example. Like, if they were to just take three guys that were not even lotto tickets, but I think Nett and Mendez are likely at least bullpen pieces, you're really just taking a flyer on a Lamar King Jr., who's a 21-year-old catcher at A-ball who has like 15 steals and like a 130 weighted runs created plus, but is also looked at as a 35-plus future value, which is an emergency call-up. I don't know if fans are going to be satiated by the return that Luis Robert Jr. gets. We'll talk about that in a second. Got to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show presented by Bet365. I'll talk more about the two better trade packages, and we'll talk about Robert's value and why it's not where it should be here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. We want to let you know about our friends over at Empire. Empire today has flooring experts who are dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. If your home needs an upgrade, don't DIY this. Maybe you could DIY a bathroom or a paint job or maybe some fun stick-on tile, right? Isn't that a nice addition? Don't do the floors. Don't do that. You can't do the floors. Don't go to a big box store and try to pick out the flooring. Don't try to have a buddy install floors over 6 weekends, right? You want floors in your house done right, and you want floors that will last forever. The experts over at Empire can help you. Empire today lives and breathes flooring, and they will be with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ballgame with our friends over at Empire. You could schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are better at home. CHGO listeners can receive a $350 off discount when using promo code CHGO. You heard us right. A $350 off discount with code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for full details. 586-2300 Empire. I don't know where I threw the 6 in. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Mando. If you stink because it's the summertime, then you should check out our friends over at Mando, a doctor. A real DR created Mando. He saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. You could choose from a variety of scents like bourbon leather, clover woods, Mount Fiji, or what I'm currently rocking, what I am wafting into Studio B, Pro Sport. It's clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's Grundle odor level was a 5 out of 10. With Mando, the average Grundle odor level, a 0 out of 10. You want to smell like a 0. You don't want any scent at all. If anything, you want Pro Sport. Go check out their Mando starter pack. It's perfect for new customers. Comes with solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice. You get 20% off with code CHGO at shopmando.com. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost confidence from head to toe with Mando. Look at Joey Christopoulos being a producer. Welcome back here on the CHGO White Sox postgame shows. We got 61 people watching and only 20 likes. Let's get to 27 at least for 27 Sox runs, huh?
Let's do it.
Huh? All right. Let's get into Shy Sox Anthony 27's. Actually, let's go to Ryan first. Ryan saying, see him possibly going to the Braves, Dodgers, Rangers, or Seattle. These are 4 teams that I did not pick. I think it's possible. The reason I didn't pick the Braves was because I think an in-division team will beat their package. The reason I didn't pick the Dodgers was because I don't know if they technically need Robert. They need a left fielder, but Pages has been good, and Pages is a top prospect for them. He is cheap. I don't think they'd be moving on from him. They would be moving, unfortunately, on from my guy, Michael Conforto, but I don't know. I don't know about the Dodgers. I don't feel set that they would go after Luis Robert Jr. The Rangers are interesting. Was a team I thought about. They're terrible against left-handed pitching. But are they good enough? I think we have to wait like 2 weeks before we even know if the Rangers are actually like competitive or not. And finally, you brought up Seattle. Seattle was a team I started to put together a package for, but at the end of the day, this team has showed that they're not spending money. And I think that they like a Rosarena, and I think they like Julio Rodriguez. They probably are fine on Canzone, who is their right fielder. And I think that they like their current machination of disgusting, piecing together platoons on their bench. I mean, they have Donovan Solano on their team, who I made fun of being a first baseman, and I was like, oh, maybe I could do a Robert and Sosa package, and they can get rid of Donovan Solano. Donovan Solano, since June 1st, the 38-year-old, has the same amount of WAR as Luis Robert Jr. So, again, I thought about Seattle, but I don't know. And also, with this trade, I'm only taking in the 1 year of Robert. There is the 2 other player options, and you also have the opportunity to make a qualifying offer to him, where if a team does beat that, then you can get a post first round pick for him, but pre second round pick for him in the qualifying rounds. But at the end of the day, he has to be good enough to even pick up that $20 million, and we're possibly even projecting him not even to be good enough to put up 0.5 WAR for the rest of the year. So it's a real weird one. Fat Hipster says Sosa should be packaged with one of those trades. I just think it's too messy, to be honest with you. But anyways, you're going to jump in?
Well, I was just going to say, I like this comment a lot, too, from, it's either Kevin or Kevon Alexander, so forgive me, but this feels like the brochure that Chris Getz is sending memo-wise to every other MLB team right now. He should turn into a positive player in a new situation.
Right, but, people are playing for current production. I mean, the future is fun to think about, and the future is always very bright and positive in everyone's brains. But, Luis Robert Jr., realistically, for the past year, has been terrible against right-handers. And there is a possibility where, a team has just all right-handed starting pitchers, and you're not able to play this guy at all in the playoffs unless you're putting him into some certain pinch hit situations against a lefty. I mean, part of the reason the White Sox had so much success today this weekend was because they were facing the crap left-handers du jour of the Pirates. I mean, Miguel Vargas hits his first home run off an outer third pitch today, and it is an 87-mile-per-hour fastball from Andrew Heaney that he's able to pull. Pulling a fastball on the outer edge is hard enough. The only reason that you're able to do it is because it's 87 miles per hour, and he's able to get that bat head out in front on an outside pitch. Anyways, someone calling me pale? Duh, I'm Irish. My name's Sean.
Maybe he was meant to finish it with ale, pale ale. A shout out to the
turn up the whiteness on those. Make me as pale as possible. I can get paler, folks.
I'm not going Scorsese and Casino on.
Yeah. So then JRW saying Robert will go to the Jays, or I think he meant to say MIN.
Miami Marlins, or yeah. Well,
I don't know. I am. Yeah. But I don't know about the Jays. The Jays have been very, very good against left-handers. So I don't know if that's going to be the team that ends up getting him. I think there's two teams that will get him or possibly could get him. Up there, someone said the Rays or the Reds are very, very interested. I think it was Shy Sox Anthony 27 saying Reds have always had a crush on Luis Robert Jr. Just saying that is the second team that we made a package for. There was a Reds reliever who said that their mindset is to force the front office to make additions after they won on Saturday. I think with Terry Francona revving up the boys, it could be possible that they push for a wild card spot in the NL Central. This is a team that ended up spending this offseason. They're getting a decent performance from Elly De La Cruz. Why not build into the star, right? They've called up, I was going to say Chase Young, Chase Petty, the kid from Vanderbilt, Tennessee. Chase Burns. No, not Chase Petty. Chase Burns, right? They've called up their top prospects. I think that this could be a year that they go for it. This is finally an overpay. Remember, if we go back to the Padres package, it was an underpay of like $800K. I think typically if you are acquiring players, you have to, overpay to get them. That was part of Lance's video. That is great. That you should go check out on his channel. But together, this package is Luis Robert Jr. for Cam Collier and Tyson Lewis. Both batters, which I think everyone is fond of, right? Collier was brought up. I think he's the 8th prospect right now in the Red system. His dad is former Major Leaguer Lou Collier. Third baseman. The future value of that is like $6.7 million. Tyson Lewis is a shortstop, I believe. He's 20 years old, 6'2", was a second-round pick last year. He's a left-handed swinger who does hit hard from Nebraska. Got $3 million to not go to Arkansas last year. I think he's interesting. And I think, again, this package is interesting, at least for the Sox, because they need all the position players that they can get. If you're able to get 2 bats for Luis Robert Jr., and this is based on Luis Robert Jr.'s performance since June, which is inflated, I think that this could be an interesting package because Collier is a top 10 prospect, and I think Lewis could be a top 10 prospect for the Rays by next season. So, 2 infielders with pop, I think it's interesting. So that's the second best prospect package that I put together. And the best prospect package that I put together, the Reds are also terrible versus left-handed pitching. I think they're like bottom 20. This team's around 15 or so. It's the New York Mets. I think the Mets will be aggressive because money doesn't really matter to Steve Cohen. This man is apparently on pain meds for back disc slippage. Whoops. I had a slippage there. Disc slippage. So he's just like on pain meds. So maybe if we send him this little clip, maybe he's able to get something working here. But let's flash the Mets package up on the screen. I have Elian Perez, a 45 future batter, valued about $6.7 million, and Wellington Arancena, a 45 future value pitcher at $4.5 million. It's a similar overpay to the Reds, about $1.7 million over. I don't know if teams will even overpay. And again, this is an inflated projection of Luis Robert Jr. This is if he is good. But I think the reason why the Mets, at least at the end of the day, they're not going to spare any cost. The Dodgers haven't been sparing any cost, and they don't have that similar TV package. But Steve Cohen doesn't feel like he's going to back down from, it's just money. Like I think that if it's just money argument, I think that he could give in. I'm really interested in these two players. I think that they could be high potential guys. They're 13th and 14th right now currently on Fangraph's top 45 Mets prospects. So they're outside of the top 10, but I think that they could be inside the top 10 by next year. Elian Pena, I think I said Perez, so apologies to Elian there. Elia Pena, third baseman, signed from the Dominican in 2025, left-handed hitter, 17.7 years old, so I don't even think he's 18 yet. By the time that they wrote this, I think he probably is like just pushing it. 17 years, 9 months, and 1 day. Jesus. He's got currently a 25 present hit tool, but the raw power is currently at a 50 at 18. The game power is 25, but it's out of a 50 future. And the fielding, right now it's at a 30, and the fielding's out of a 55. He's got a really good arm. It's currently graded as a 60. Pena received the top bonus in the 2025 international class at $5 million outside of Roki Sasaki. Maybe that is going to keep him around. I don't even know if that's true. If that is realistic, like if they're giving a kid that big of a bonus, do they want to give him up for Luis Robert Jr., who may be good? I don't know. It's a little iffy, but he is intriguing. And then Aaron Senna, 20 and a half years old, 6'3", starting pitcher. They're trying to work him into the starting rotation. Current grade on his fastball, a 60. Future value, 70. Current grade on his slider, 50. Future grade, 60. And his current cutter sits at 55, future value 60. He has been seen hitting 101 in the DSL, and now he has been in AAA. And since the 15th of May, they've started Wellington on and off, but it's either been, pitch 4 innings to start the game, pitch 4 innings to end the game. Since May 15th, 48 innings pitched, a 1.31 ERA. Opponents are hitting 117, 219, 154 off the kid, and he's throwing 100. So it seems like Aaron Senna, like worst case scenario, major league reliever. So you're taking the potential on Pena, who received a huge bonus, is under 18 years old, and then Aaron Senna, who, again, these are potential lottery picks. They could be, you get your money back, and it's, you win $5 on a $5 ticket, and Aaron Senna is a relief pitcher that gives you, some decent run, whatever. Maybe Pena, at worst, is like a fine defender, and he's just able to get by. But if they're able to develop, then eyeball emoji, eyeball emoji, eyeball emoji. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. If there are any comments, Joey will mark them and get to them. Let's first, before we get to this break, give you the what's the temp from our friends over at Four Seasons. If you do have a air conditioning, heating, electrical, or plumbing issue, call 866-4SEASON. We're taking the temp with our friends over at Four Seasons. Grant Taylor's red hot. And I understand some people, and now his 17 and a third innings pitched are, he's got a +4 ERA. And yes, he has given up 8 earned runs in those 17 and a third. But what this kid does is he just throws the ball in the damn zone. He struck out 3 Pirates today. 3 batters faced, 3 hitters sent down via strikeout. He currently, before today's game, had a 10.5 strikeout per 9, and his walk rate was a 2.2 walk per 9. His hit per 9 is the issue. He hasn't given up a homer, so shout out to him. But the hit per 9, 7.7. The issue with Grant Taylor right now is that he is really only just throwing four-seam fastballs and cutters. So he's really just throwing his fastballs and just saying, hit it. And there are times, giving up 7.7 hits per 9. There are times where they do hit it. But I just love the fact that he's not afraid to throw things in the zone. And yes, some guys take a slider that's on the outside corner and take it for a single. And that has led to runs. But I think the reason that he could be a starter, if he's able to build up into that, is finding trust in that breaking ball. It hasn't been there yet. He threw 23 pitches today, threw 3 breaking balls, 2 curveballs, 1 slider. But you look at the curveballs, 2 swings on the 2 curveballs thrown, 2 complete whiffs. Guys are so geared up for that fastball, and if he's able to throw him off that scent, he will be able to dominate. When you have a curveball at 87 and a fastball at 100, reactions or reflexes just aren't fast enough. I mean, an 87 mile per hour slider is dirty enough. You got a curveball that's dropping like what's his vertical break? -13. That's dropping 13 inches when his fastball is like rising. It's got a 17-inch vertical break. So that thing's going up in the zone. Your curveball is just going completely down. And it's got this insane spike going at 88 miles per hour. I really think that Grant Taylor is something special. And I really hope they don't screw up his development, because if he's able to become a starter, watch out. If he's able to grow that curveball and find the trust to at least throw that over in a 0-0 count, like, watch out. This guy could be truly something special. It's a tightrope they're walking with having him in the bullpen. But if we're taking the temp, Grant Taylor's red hot. He's disgusting. He's the greatest thing to ever live. And I am not being, over-exaggerating. I'm not being hyper or whatever. I'm
being sincere.
I'm being sincere.
Coming from the heart.
This is the truth. We got to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. We'll talk about Mike Tauchman being Jim Thome. We'll talk a little bit about Miguel Vargas's homer on the outer third of the plate. We'll talk a little bit about Lenin Sosa, and we'll talk about some fake IL stints here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show. We got to let you know about our wonderful partners over at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. It's your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors, whether you're a newbie or you are an expert yourself, are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality cannabis products. If you are new, you could be helped out by their lovely, kind, and smart bud tenders who can put you along the right path. Maybe you are an expert and you know which way to imbibe is best for you. Maybe you're a toker. Maybe you're a smoker. Maybe you are a midnight joker. You can also check out their great deals that we have for you. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day. Only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. For existing users, use promo code CHGO for 50% off one Cresco Lab branded item. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Monarch Money. You need a personal CFO in your life. I got one in my beautiful wife who loves to take care of all of the expenses and make sure bills are paid on time, because I know that I couldn't do that. You might also struggle to do that, but you might not be as lucky as me. Monarch Money acts like your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control so you could stop earning and start growing. It's more than your averaging budgeting app. Monarch Money is a complete financial command center for your accounts, investments, and goals. And you don't have to just manage your money. You could start building wealth with 50% off your first year for our listeners. If you are looking to maybe buy a house in the future, maybe save for an in-ground or above-ground pool, maybe you want a nice little hot tub, huh? Maybe you want to build a deck. Who knows? Monarch Money can help you make sure that you are on track financially. It was named Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025. So get control over your finances with Monarch Money. Use code CHGO at Monarch Money in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code CHGO. Real quick, back here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show, we do have Southside Sox saying, we'll trade Robert and then sign a washed-up outfielder to take a spot. They're probably just going to call up Dominic Fletcher, but, like, yeah. First of all, they've done a pretty good job of signing up washed-up outfielders. Tauchman, Slater, Taylor have all been, like, watchable. Palacios was watchable there for, like, a short instance. Maybe they bring back Palacios. It's they're a team that's going to lose 100 losses. Like, Luis Robert Jr. has wasted his time here in Chicago. The fact that they're getting rid of him sucks, and he should be a part of this team, but, like, where was he in 2024? Where was he in the beginning of 2025? Like, I thought I saw signs in spring training. It seemed like he got a little bit more patient, and it seemed like he was really going to wait for his pitches to fall into the zone. It just never happened. And maybe it's happening from June to now, but he's gone. And they will sign a washed outfielder to take a spot, or they'll just call up Dominic Fletcher to play defense, right? But I mean, that's a 100-loss team.
The production that you've detailed, not just on this show, but in previous shows, there is no way that you can explain to me how Luis Robert Jr. can become a pillar or some sort of franchise piece in the years to come, just based on what we've seen over the last year. So, no, it's time to move on. There's nothing wrong. I think we're all in agreement that he's talented, right? I think then we're all starting getting into gradient levels of how talented and what he's going to be like in the future. But if he was going to be the guy or the face of the franchise moving forward, I mean, that time has come and gone.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing, too, is, I mean, they didn't spend over $5 million on a free agent this year, and Robert's slated to make $20 million next year. I don't think that they're interested in paying anyone over $10 million, and they have to pay Benintendi over $10 million. Not going to pay double that for Robert for him to maybe be tradable. I mean, this is all just for him to be tradable. So, you know, I wish Luis Robert Jr. be a forever White Sox and was putting up 50 WAR, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And he'll have a real nice, 7 WAR season with some team, and he'll have a really great year, and then probably fall off the face of the earth. Anyways, let's get to some of the favorited comments, and then we'll get into some of the stuff that happened this weekend. We do want to get to the fat hipster saying, could Steven Wilson get traded, or does Gilbert/Altavia have any trade value in a package? No. I mean, I think most people base their idea of trade value off of what's it called? Like video games. So, sometimes you can trade a relief pitcher for a prospect and get something in that video game. But when you look at the overall player grade based on Fangraphs on what these guys are typically worth, and a middle relief pitcher is usually about 40 future value, maybe pushing on 35 future value plus. So you're possibly just getting a 21-year-old catcher in high A. You're not going to be getting anything of true note. Tyson Lewis, that guy that's 15th in a team's organization. You're probably getting someone in the 20s or deeper in an organization. It's something, but I don't think it's anything to really get excited about. So will we be talking about a Gilbert Altavilla trade and then talking about who they got at some point? Possible, but I don't think it's going to be anyone of interest. There is Ian? No. There is Ian saying, Grant is doing the same path that Crochet did, ? That worked. I trust the system under Banny. That was slop, though. We were talking, Herb, Vinny, and I, that entire offseason, we never thought Garrett Crochet could be a starter. That was really out of nowhere that Getz was yeah, we're going to try this and see what happens. And that was at the start of the year. And we're oh, maybe this will end up working out. And then by the end of spring training, he's the opening day starter. So that didn't happen very much the same. They tried to make Grant Taylor work in the minors as a starter. And Brian Bannister said, to best preserve his health, we are going to move him to the rotation or to the bullpen and try to grow him that way. So it is similar to Crochet, but also Crochet was kind of thrown into it, where Taylor, this seems to be a little bit more tailored. No pun intended. It seems like a little bit more tailored to him. The difference is Taylor's 6'3" and consistently overextending when he's throwing. He has some of the largest extension in Major League Baseball in a 6'3" frame, which I think is fine, but I think, again, it leads to overworking of the body. Garrett Crochet can lift his massive leg, his horse leg, up in the air and just kick and fire. And I think that's why you're going to see Garrett Crochet be really healthy for the rest of his year, because that kid is a horse. He's had some arm issues, but he was also throwing 100 with no lower leg strength. And now the fact that he's gotten completely yoked as a 25-year-old, he really grew into his body and has turned into the monster he is today. There is no growing into Grant Taylor's body. He's grown. That's a grown man. So I don't know if he'll have the same track as Crochet, because Crochet had so much to grow into, where Grant Taylor is already working, I think, with his full deck of cards. It's more about him possibly getting healthier, because this isn't even a guy that has lack of control issues.
Is Chris Sale a better maybe general comp to that, of what they did with Chris Sale when he first came up?
No, because Chris Sale was a first-round pick, and they picked him because they knew at some point he'd be a starter. Grant Taylor was a lottery pick. Maybe this guy will start, and maybe he'll be good as Paul Skeens. Yeah. But it's this guy is a very talented pitcher. We need to figure out which way is the best to protect him. I think they'll give him a shot to start, but I don't think he will have a Crochet route, just because they're such different bodies. I mean, even with Sale too, you know, it's 6'4" and lanky, but he also has such a unique arm angle that he doesn't really need to be overextending on velocity and sliders, which he learned with the Braves, right? As long as he can manipulate the ball enough, he's got such a hard arm angle to pick up that he makes such a difficult thing for batters. Like Grant Taylor is overextending his body, throwing 100, throwing massive spin rates. Like he seems to be full maxing whenever he throws, and that's what like typically relievers do. And I don't think he has like a way to kind of control that gas pedal. Like it's pedal to the metal for Grant Taylor, and there is really no like finesse with his game at this point. Tony Perkins saying after the trade deadline would like to see Vassell getting some starts and see what it looks like. Sure. I mean, you also saw just in today's game. I mean, this was what, a 7-1 game, and I think McCutchen ends up gapping one to the to right center field. Vassell is used in mop up roles, so I think he can give you some starts, but do not inflate Mike Vassell's ERA with him being good. He has the second, I think, or third, eighth largest discrepancy between his ERA and FIP. Like the guy doesn't strike out enough guys and walks too many guys and lets up too many hits to have this good of an ERA. It's gonna crumble on Vassell at some point. So, you can get some starts and get some innings, which is fine. But I don't know if you're gonna. I think they're gonna look pretty bad. Wild Juan saying, check out Reds prospect Adolfo Sanchez. He could be an interesting name to add into that name or that list of Reds players. He is got the second largest international signing in 2024. This is per Eric Longenhagen of Fangraphs. Sanchez was one of the top prospects in the 2024 international amateur class. Signed with Cincinnati for $2.7 million. He was terrible in the DSL last year when he was 17 years old. 216 average, 356 on base percentage. Everyone walks in the DSL, so don't take that 356 is anything too crazy. And then a 345 slugging percentage. But then this year, as an 18-year-old, 31 games, it is a 337 batting average, 481 on base percentage, 510 slugging. I'm not super interested just because the potential power is there, but he also only has 2 homers in the DSL, which I'm not raving about. So it could be a potential piece, but I don't love Adolfo. Baseball Toss asking how long until the draftees sign. Future Sox has you covered on that. I think they said recently that those guys are signing this week. So if you are worried, I think that they are going to be able to sign their entire class per Future Sox, what they've said, and it should be this week. I think they have a signing tracker going on. So go check out the great people at Future Sox. They know much more than I do. I just trust James and Ian on that front. Let's get into today's game. Mike Tauchman did something historic. Do you want to go to this? This is from the White Sox social media. Mike Tauchman is the 52nd player to reach the Allegheny River, which has now been accomplished 84 times. So 52 players hit a ball into the Allegheny 84 times. The only other White Sox was Jim Thome, and he did it June 29th, 2006. So Mike Tauchman equals Jim Thome. We also had the first outer third homer for Miguel Vargas. In the outer third, he has 5 extra base hits this year. All of the other ones have become middle or inner plate. And I don't think it's a sign of anything because Andrew Heaney's really bad, but it is great to see him finally get a monkey off of his back. Since the swing change, he hadn't had a hit off a left-hander's fastball, and finally gets on the board at a four-seam fastball. And that was a four-seam fastball on the outer edge, and he tattooed it. So at least good to see Vargas clearing that hurdle because that was a real ugly thing for him. Really able to hit right-handers as a right-handed bat, but can't hit lefties. Should be the other way around. It's good because you see more righties consistently, but I'm just surprised that he's been that bad against lefties.
I got a quick question for you, Sean. Can we play the Pirates every day?
I wish. Wouldn't it be nice to be in the NL Central? Didn't the Astros switch? Couldn't we switch places with the Astros?
There's a sad pod going on next door. Careful now.
Oh, I mean, you won 2 out of 3. It wouldn't be that sad. But yeah, I
if they don't trade for Andrew Heaney, which I know Andrew Heaney's name's been popping up on different MLB trade deadlines. No, he shouldn't.
No. Adrian Hauser would be a much better idea. So anyways, we did our Tauchman equals Thome. We've talked about Vargas. We've talked about Grant Taylor and drooling over him. We've done some Robert trades. There are some things that I do want to get into as well. Fake IL stints. So on Friday. They were running around the outfield track, and Shane Smith hurt his knee. Oh, interesting.
What?
The guy at a career high and just pitched in the All-Star game has an injury? A weird freak injury? That can't be. Joey, that can't be real.
Look, I don't know a lot about warning tracks.
I think his knee's fine.
There's some big rocks out there that you can easily trip around. And
I think his knee's fine. So if you are worried about, or ankle, whatever it was, they picked a body part and made it up, is the point. Whether it's his ankle, whether it's his knee, whether it's his leg, whether it's his hamstring, whether it's his calf, whether it's his thigh muscle, whether it's his Charlie horse, they're just giving him a break. And I'm fine with it. He hasn't looked that effective. And maybe when you go to Tony Perkis, who brings up Vassell, maybe Vassell is a name that ends up starting for Shane Smith or giving them 4 innings because Shane Smith is out. But this is absolutely a fake IL stint for Shane Smith.
It was the second time this year, too, that the White Sox tried to end Eugenio Suarez this season.
Both times by Shane Smith.
Got really close, yeah. So maybe there's this.
And what does he do on Saturday? 2 homers. So quit complaining.
It's like one of those scenes.
Gino's fine.
One of those scenes in a mob movie where the guy's just like, Shane, why don't you just lay low for a couple of weeks? Right. You know what I mean? Get out of town. Go to Boca.
I think we'll see him in August. I don't know how he's going to do, but his velocity's been fine. So if you are worried about him hitting that career innings peak, I think the 15-day break could be good for him, and maybe we'll see a refreshed Shane Smith. The other one, I don't think this is fake IL. Noah Schultz was warming up on the mound and left the game with knee discomfort, and I think this one was knee discomfort. Thankfully, he was only placed on the 7-day IL. I wouldn't start to panic about Noah Schultz, but this is the worst-case scenario. His 10 ERA or whatever it was in AAA, him giving up a home run to Josue De Paula of the Dodgers, right? Like, I don't care. Noah Schultz is 6'10". I can bury all those stats with just that one fact. Noah Schultz is 6'10". I don't care about his actual stats as long as he's pitching. Now he's not pitching. So now I'm a little bit concerned. Because A, how long will this injury actually keep him out for? And B, if it is short, will this flare up again, right? Like, is this something that now he's reaching career highs? Are we going to be running into some issues with with Noah Schultz? However, no experts saying the Schultz news is grim. Think back to Garrett Crochet. These are anomalies. This is a 21-year-old that is 6'10". I have my baby cousin Charlie, who's like 22 or whatever, right? And he's 6'4", and that kid is a string bean.
Baby cousin Charlie is 6'4"?
Yes, and he could probably, eat 15 steaks a day and would not add a single gram of muscle. I think Noah is in a similar ballpark, and maybe he's like Garrett, where he just needs a little bit time to grow into this freakishly huge body. I don't want to freak out about Noah Schultz. I don't think you should be freaking out about Noah Schultz, but a little concerning there that he is injured. Well, that's the one thing you wanted to avoid.
With these young players, you just want them to be healthy, get reps, get experience, learn their craft as much as you can. Whenever you can't do that on the field, it just slows down and stunts the development. So it's never fun.
My favorite thing is when new people pop in. I know one of them, Sidney Brown, saying Davis Martin is supposed to start against the Rays on Tuesday, which is good. Thank you, Sidney, for that heads up there. So Davis Martin returning will take off some pressure there on Shane Smith. But Michael Brown's new, and he says, in all caps, why do we keep giving away good players and keep getting bad players? Who are you talking about? Who's even good?
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, again,
I appreciate the comment and the question, but I'm just wondering specifically which one has him spelling in all caps. I'm just curious.
Most people are pretty upset with Luis Robert Jr. He finally got over a 200 average mark. Like, this guy's been hitting sub 200, and it's been, God, they can't get anything for Luis Robert Jr. He has 10 hot games, and it's now, why do we keep giving away good players and getting bad players? Because the good players are worth $15 million and aren't performing like $15 million players.
You know, I like where his head's at, though. As long as we can keep it out there that Luis Robert Jr. is a good player, we might just get a good return. So I like where your head's at, Michael. Luis Robert Jr. is a good player.
We are closing in at the 50-minute mark, and I apparently can just keep rambling. So we'll keep this brief. Why is Lenin Sosa on the team? Why is Lenin Sosa here? Lenin Sosa, for the past couple of days, has been the designated hitter for the Chicago White Sox, forcing Miguel Vargas to play first base, forcing Chase Majoff to be the shortstop, forcing Colson Montgomery over to third base, and then whoever playing second base.
He's hosting this show next week too, and he's forcing you to work a different job. He's wearing a lot of hats.
He is, and if soon he'll be the what's it called? The mayor of Chicago. Baseball Toss says because he has the most second strike hits. Okay, well, first of all, he should be like Zach Neto and just cut out the leg kick and just go to his 2-strike swing from everything before 2 strikes because the power is not worth it. Lenin Sosa has been hot, I'll put that in quotes, over the past 18 games. A 290 average, a 329 on-base percentage, and a 515 slugging percentage. But when will you people learn? The guy's got a sub-3 walk percentage. He's not better against right-handers or left-handers. Like, you look at his splits versus lefties and righties, a weighted runs created plus of 58 versus lefties, a weighted runs created plus against 116 against righties. But I still think that that's fairly, I think that there's some holes to poke in there. The BABIP against righties, 340. The actual average, 288. So there is a little bit of gap inflating that average, I feel like. And you look at the 3.2 walk percentage, we see with Luis Robert Jr., if you're able to just get those pitches away from that barrel, he's a strikeout machine. What value does he bring? I think that they're trying to get past the trade deadline with Lenin Sosa on the team just because then the team will get so much worse once you lose Robert, Tauchman, et cetera, et cetera. I think maybe they'll finally pull the plug on Rojas as well. But at the end of the day, what are we hoping Lenin Sosa turns into? A DH that can't even dominate against lefties? That against righties is like 15% better than major league average? I don't think that this hot streak for 18 games is what we should be looking at. You should just be looking at the entire player profile. He can't play defense. He can't walk. You're lucky if he makes contact. And when he makes contact, boom, big boom, that's nice. But it feels like a John Kenzie Noel situation. I don't think Lenin Sosa is it. I think that it is fairly detrimental that Colson Montgomery is called up and they're forcing him over to third base because of Lenin Sosa. Like, Miguel Vargas should be the third baseman. Colson Montgomery should be the shortstop. Chase Majoff should be the second baseman. Maybe they'll figure out a way to put Lenin Sosa more at DH, but you can't because Benintendi can't play left field. Like, right now, it just seems like the roster crunch is forcing Lenin Sosa off. And I don't think that he has any trade value. What team wants him? He's not good against lefties. He's fine-ish against righties. You can't play him in the field. He's like if Luis Arraez didn't have a massive hit tool and a massive contact tool. And he's hitting, he's a righty. He's not even a lefty like Arraez. Like, I don't see his actual value. He looks good against or compared to other White Sox players, but I don't think Lenin Sosa looks good against the major leagues.
That's the problem, though, is like we can go back and forth with him offensively. No one's going to say that he's a superstar, but the fact that he can't play the field and the fact that the White Sox can't have this developmental infield and have him roam around and just play capable defense, that they have to play him at DH, it says everything that you need to know about his future and his fit on this current team.
And I just disagree with Baseball Toss saying nothing wrong with having someone show that they can play a different position. Sure, it's fine that Montgomery is at third base. It's fine that Vargas is at first base. But what you want to see is if they are actual stalwarts at that position. Can Miguel Vargas be your third baseman? Can Colson Montgomery be your shortstop? Montgomery's leash is fairly long at shortstop. He's going to get the rest of the year, and I think that he'll likely be the opening day starter in 2026. But I want to see the most games from Colson Montgomery at shortstop before Carlson or Bonham pushes him out, right? I don't care about Chase Majoff playing shortstop because he's fine at it. He overperformed what I think expectations were, but it seems very clear that he's a second baseman. Why not, if this could be a potential future machination of a lineup, why not have the guys play their actual position? What is Lenin Sosa doing for you right now? He's either forcing Andrew Benintendi to the bench or forcing Andrew Benintendi to left field or forcing Vargas off of his what should be position, third base. I mean, we saw how valuable Moncada could be when he started to grow into a third baseman. Vargas isn't there yet, but I liked some flashes that we saw at third base from him, and we've seen some flashes with the bat this year. I just think that if you're seeing flashes from somebody that's under 26 or 25, you should be looking into that. And I understand that Sosa, right now is 25 years old, 25 and a half. But there isn't a flash of potential. You're not going to see a guy that's an above average power hitter. You're not going to see a guy that's an above average contact hitter. You're not going to see a guy that gets on base. You're not going to see a fielder. You're seeing the best of Lenin Sosa right now, and it's all downhill from here.
We can't even have the Kyle Teal, Edgar Caro starting in the same lineup debate, which is silly, but I'd rather have that than just what we're getting from Lenin Sosa. It's just it's nothing against him. It's just not the right fit for this team right now. And you are correct. He is actively taking away from a lot that the White Sox coaching staff can learn about a lot of these young players.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's fine that Colson Montgomery can play third base, and I would be fine with it if it's twice in a month and Chase moves over to shortstop twice a month. But what they should be going out there every single day is Caro or Teal at catcher, Vargas at third base, Colson at shortstop, Maedroth at second base, whoever the hell at first base, right field, center field, left field. There is, I think, a clear way that this lineup should be made. And I think that I don't think you should be moving these guys around. I mean, we saw with Andrew Vaughn, and it's not much of an extension moving a guy from shortstop to third base like it is from first base to left field like they did with Vaughn. But I want to see if Colson Montgomery's a shortstop. I don't care if he's a third baseman. We could see if he's a third baseman when it's time to see when he's a third baseman, which is a couple of years from now. I want to see if the left-hander can take pressure off of his bat by being a good shortstop. If Colson Montgomery's a good shortstop, that means he doesn't have to hit 20 home runs next year. If he hits 15 home runs and plays decent defense, he's going to be a worthwhile player at shortstop. Ride that out while you can. Ride out Colson Montgomery being above average or above a plus WAR. I won't say a plus player. I won't even say 2 WAR. But I think that he could struggle with 1 WAR in a season while playing all right defense at shortstop and then, getting adjusted to major league pitching. I think it's fairly stupid because now when you move over to third base, the expectations are higher. Not only do you have to play decent defense, but you also have to bring pop, right? Now you're expecting, not really, but if you are having him be a third baseman, you're expecting more 25 homers from a third baseman, which I think you could probably get from Vargas. You're not getting that from Colson Montgomery this year, and you shouldn't expect that. He's 22. He's a baby. So, anyways, that's going to do it for the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Thank you to Joey Christopoulos for producing today's show. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't. We had over 60 people watching, so we went pretty much 60 minutes for you. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us. Kavan, Ryan, Baseball Toss, Shy Sox Anthony, Mel was in here. I can't think of other people.
Ryan,
other
Fat
people?
Hipster.
Ryan. Yeah, we mentioned Ryan.
Yeah, we saw some regulars and some newbies. It was great to see.
Shout out to everyone. Appreciate you. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We'll be back on Monday and Wednesday to recap 2 of the 3 games against the Tampa Rays. See you then.
We all silly like the mayor.